Hey everyone, welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura of the Mama Pop Quilt Shop, and we're very happy to see you here today. Today, we're going to work on a little zippered pouch. I showed this a long time ago on one of our live streams on Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you guys want to ever check us out. It was one of the change purses I used to make. I used to make them and give them away to kids, but this was mine. I used to take this to work all the time with me because, you know, I'd only need something, a little snack for my break, and so I'd take my little change purse and off I went. So I made a little handle for it, and I made some cute little ears and little stuffy spiked tail. That was Sophie sneezing. But I want to show you today how I made one that, or make them pretty much with no raw edge on the inside. So it's sealed all the way around, okay? And this was just a little one. I used a hexagon little ruler to make this one. Easy peasy, and then of course a little handle up at the top where it's closed. You don't want to have it so it was the other way, just in case your zipper opened and you lost all your little change. So, okay, you don't want that. But this could be not necessarily just for change. It could be for little kids' toys. It could be for like special Lego pieces. It could be, you know, someplace where you put some Q-tips and some, you know, a little wet wipe in a baggie or something like that, and you know, it goes in your bag all the time. There's many little ideas for these little zipper pouches. So I'm just going to show you how to, you know, I made this little monster one, made this one. That was a long time ago, and I'm going to make a little bit more of a monster one today. But it's more like for pencils or bigger things. Like, you know, you could make a little first aid kit and stick it in there, and that could be in your kid's backpack or something like that. So it makes it fun, but you know, you can really reuse it as well. So here's the little tail I made, and these are just little prairie points, and I'll show you right now how to make a prairie point before I get confused and, you know, sidetracked because squirrel. So you just take a square of fabric, okay, just like that. You're going to fold it in half. These ones are ears, so this one's going to be an ear for my little monster buddy I've made. And then, so once you have your triangle, you're going to take your outer triangles and come right down to the center one, folding it, and then folding it again, just like that. And that gets you what is called a prairie point. And then when you sew this, you'll sew it along this line, leaving this to get all chopped up because you don't need that. You'd sew it right along this line, and then that's what gives you your points for your project. Isn't that cute? A little spiky tail there. And of course I stuffed it, have a little bit more stuffing to go. But yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be cute. It's going to be fun. There we go. So we'll just pin that there together. So that's how prayer points are made, very easy. And I'm just using, I picked up a bag of zippers from the Salvation Army or something like that a long time ago, and I'm still working my way through some of the smaller ones. So this was one here. It's just a blue one. I put a little waxy rope on it to use it as a pole. You could add beads. You could find the little clips here and add some beads if you like. So this fits here just perfectly. Clip that on there, and you got yourself a little decorative, you know, little pulley if you wanted to. You don't have to. That's, you know, it's completely up to you to just go and have some fun. So I have here, my insides and my outsides are the same fabric, so I wasn't going to be too confusing. So here is my top piece, and I've already sewn on some eyes. I've used 2 different size buttons and then added another set of buttons on top of that just to give it some uniqueness. This is my little buddy that's it's going to be, you know, unique in its own right, so you know, have its own little name. There's lots of other different buttons you could use. There's these ones are kind of like scooped. You could actually put other buttons on the inside, or you can use these ones here. We're very three-dimensional. Flip them over this way. You know, think about buttons in a different way. Stack them. You can have it so, you know, you got like 1, 2, 3, and then that's some eyes, or you just decorate the whole project in buttons. You know, go crazy. Okay, so I'm having it so it's going to face me, and I know that the zipper, which way you want to put your zipper, it really doesn't matter, unless you had the purpose of, you know, doing it that way. Make sure it was going to be closed if it was going to dangle a certain way. But in this one's kind of a long one here. So to make it, it's its mouth. The zipper is going to be my little critter's mouth. So I want to make sure that when I have my top headpiece, and bottom pieces, when they are sitting right side out, that the zipper is also sitting right side out. So I'm laying my zipper straight here. You don't always close it all the way. You take your right side of your fabric, you're going to lay it on this side because you're going to pin this side of the zipper first. So when you go to sew that, and when you're going to sew the top and the bottom at the same time, you flip it over and you have a nice clean seam. And you can, of course, stitch right over on top of that. You can use decorative thread. You could do decorative stitches. You could do whatever you like. It's fun, and you can use your machine to utilize it, okay? So we're just going to pin that right there. I'm going to sneak up all the way close to the top because I don't really want to hit that little stop tab at the top there with my sewing machine, okay? You can sew through plastic zippers. You can't sew through metal zippers, so don't do that, okay? That'll just wreck your machine. So be conscious of where you're doing your placement of your fabric. So that's the right sides together with the zipper in the middle, making sure, and you can always just put a pin in. You're like, oh, I don't know if I got this set up right. Is that the right sides together? No, it wasn't. Okay, there we go. Now it is right sides together. I gotta reset it. You can always do a pin and then flip it and make sure, like, okay, this is the way I need it to be. Okay, I'm all right. I'm cool with this. You'll need a zipper foot for this project, which they're not very hard to come by. You can either order one. Most machines come with them. Okay, it's a foot just like this. Maybe Mudge can zoom in there so you can see that. And you just ride the foot of the zipper foot right along the edge of the zipper, and it just stitches right in there. Okay, and I'm just going to pin that, knowing I got my right sides together, sandwiching that zipper in between. Oops, I forgot to pull some pins out. Okay. And you could be so creative on making your little zipper pouch. You can like just go crazy. You got fabric, you can make it scrappy, you can make a critter, you can make a monster, you can make a fairy, you can make a dolly, you can make anything. You make it, name it, you make it. Okay. So I know I have those pinned correctly when I go to flip it this way. And if I was to zipper open the mouth, you can see my eyes just fine. And it encloses the zipper on both sides. There's no raw edges. Okay, so I'm like, all right, we're good to go. Let's sew this right now. Need the foot. We do. And then just scoot up under here. And be slow and steady. Slow and steady wins the race. Okay. And I'm just having it so it's going straight down the center hole of the zipper foot. But I can feel that it's resting right up against the edge of the teeth of the zipper as it's sewing. Okay. And it's giving me a nice proper spacing between the fabric and the zipper. Okay. Just come all the way off. And now we're going to do the same thing with the bottom half of the monster to make it nice and even. So now we got our top, okay? And then again, with our right sides together, make sure we got the right sides together. Yeah, there we go, here, okay? And we do go on this side and this side, okay? And then we're gonna pin that. Try and make sure you have your both sides of fabric, your top and your bottom, lining up very similarly on the zipper, okay? So if you know you only came in like 1/4 of an inch, make sure you're placing your fabric about 1/4 of an inch so they look nice and even once stitched up, okay? If you are afraid to sew with pins, this is where you can totally do a little base stitch without any issues. Just take a needle and thread, and then you can sew the zipper on. You got it in the right spot. Or if you're you just want to make sure everything's correct, you can always just do a little whip stitch. And of course, I took out some of my colorful threads just in case, when I was being creative earlier. But that's some of my very bright and glow-in-the-dark threads. That would be kind of cool for a zippered pouch. And this can be like for headset. This can be for snacks in the car, the doggy treats, for your bag. I mean, there's so many. Okay, so now make sure, do your little double check, making sure that you're pinning has made it easy for you to open and close your zipper, okay? All right, now let's go sew that. This is a great project to do with the kids. They can make their own monster. You can add felt for eyes and ears and tails and, you know, you name it. Since this is bigger than, the zipper is bigger than we need right now, I'm just going to move the head all the way down to here, so this makes this sewing nice and easy. Okay? I don't have to worry about the zipper head being in the way. So you can see where it hugs right up against the edge of those teeth, and it's just going to stitch right there. Okay? Making sure that zipper is sandwiched in between those right facing fabrics. Okay, there. Okay. Now you can totally come over and flip this and then start doing another decorative stitch over top, or you can just do a finger press. You can do whatever it is that makes you happy. You close the zipper and you should have the front of your critter face. Okay? If you were doing a critter or whatever it is. Just even a little pouch like this is nice, you know, it's unique. Okay, and makes it special. So you could totally stitch down on either side. I think I will, just because I would like it to give it that nice finished look before I give it away. Okay. Now, if you wanted a closer stitch to that zipper, then you would move the needle position over to closer to the zipper, and it would come up almost right snug as a bug next to that zipper itself, okay? And you don't even have to put the stitch in, but it looks nice either way, okay? So I'm just letting you know. I like the look of the zipper, especially when it is part of the character. It's the mouth, so I like the look of actually it being part of it. Okay, so there we go. All pretty stitched. Okay. Now what we want to do is making sure we add our ears. Okay, we're going to put these up at the top here. And of course, we know this is a raw edge and this is a raw edge. We want to make sure our parry points get into position where I'm sewing just a straight line all the way across. So I'm just going to pin that as a temporary so I know the ears in the right spot. Here. And depending on whether you wanted the crack in the front, which I think just makes sense if you're making it as an ear, or just the solid in the back or on the front like that too. It's up to you, but I kind of want it with the crack or the spacing where it's folded. I like the look of it. Okay, so take that pin off that side, shift these guys over, make sure there's enough room for both ears. I have to shift this one over. The other one's being a hog. Hold on. And then when we place the inner fabric and outer fabric, one's going to go on one side and one's going to go on the other. And we're going to leave a gap on the side here or at the bottom or something like that of where we can turn it right side out. Okay, so this may be a good time where we would like to maybe base this so we don't have to deal with the pins. Okay, and I'll take my zipper foot off. Put my regular one on. Some people may have to use your little screwdriver to change your feet because it's a whole leg connection. So just be wary that you'll have to have all the supplies necessary. Ready to go. Okay, we'll flatten that corner there. We don't want any folded ears. We can prevent it. Okay, there we go. Now we can trim those guys off, because we don't need thems. And of course you could use batting for this too. There's so many options. Okay, and before you sew all the way around, we need to make sure our tail gets in here too. Okay, depending on what you're wearing, our tail, this side, that side. Seems like I got the dots more on this side of the character, so we'll make sure it gets in there. We need to stuff it just a smidgy more. Just need it a little bit. Hello, Lovey. What you doing? Come say hi. Making something wild and crazy. Come here, come on. Come say hi. There you go. Hi, Bobes. Hey, you like it? Hello. Hello, Topi Lopi. All right, just stuff that. And you can do it, you know, so it's super stiff or just enough, you know. Make sure you're happy with it. It could be its little handle too. I mean, you try to make some fun out of it, right? You know. I thought the little munchkin would really like it. Okay, so here I'm going to place it in between the fabric. So you're going to, because it's wider then, I'm going to have to do some little maneuver in here to get it to go in and stay here. So I'm going to have to put that there. So the tail there. And then we want our one main of fabric here and our other bit of fabric on that side. Okay. Now we get to pin. Pin it all together. Okay, and then we're going to sew around except for one little spot where we're going to turn it around. Okay. Oh, that has a little cut on it. Okay, let's try and get this better here. Oh, that does too. Okay. Must have cut too far. Okay, one on one side, one on the other. I know it sounds a little weird, but really, when we turned it right side out, all those raw edges are all sealed up, except for that one little spot where you left it to turn. Okay, so put some pins in. Then maneuver the tail. Of course, you don't have to make as big a tail as I did, of course. Did I get that right? I think I did. I think I did. I hate it when you second guess yourself. Just tuck that there. See if we can put a little pin. Oh no, it's not going to stay because I have to turn it. And it'll poke me. I don't want to poke me. Okay. Of course, this is much longer than I need. Okay. Trying to get some of my pins in place. This is a plastic zipper, so I will be sewing straight over it, not anywhere near the metal end piece or the top piece as well. Okay. Let's just trim this, tuck the tail in. Oh, I got quite a bit to go there. Now you can start making these as Christmas gifts. I think that would be a fantastic idea, getting prepared for the season, we all know. And we can't say we didn't have enough time to get stuff done this year. Now, when it comes to matching the zipper up to the other end to be able to sew all the way up, make sure your little metal bits are together. This is lined up. Make sure you can always put a pin in there. I always find that sometimes a little helpful before I can get the top part maneuvered into place, getting those bits that need to stay together. Okay, so now I'm tucking that tail in. Now I'm going to come back and move each individual, the zippered part there, so it stays nicely together. And of course, there's just a little bit of an opening, so I'd be able to get my hand in there and open the zipper a little bit more. Okay. To there we go. Oh, it is a hot day today, man, let me tell you. Us Canadians melt at 28 degrees Celsius, and it's like 36 out there. Should be hot. Okay, now we got it pinned all the way around, tails on the inside. Okay, and of course we could have added a handle wherever we wanted to have a handle, maybe even up at the top. We could have done it between the ears or something. We're going to leave a space down here at the bottom where there's that little bit of extra fabric so we can make sure we're turning over the raw edge without any issues. And we're just going to sew all the way around, okay? Nice 1/4 inch seam allowance. I would back stitch if you can across some pressure issues, like maybe where the tail's going to be or where the ears are, because it's kind of, the ears are big enough you could probably just carry it or tug on it there. So I'm going to start off down here and putter all the way about, okay? Putter, putter, putter. Puttering about. And make sure you're leaving enough space to get the tail out too, as well as the rest of the zippered pouch, okay? Yeah, every time anybody saw this customer or even employee, they're like, oh, can I have one? Or, can you make me one? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I made so many. And they were fun to make too. And of course I can round these corners. You know, you don't have to do them straight. You can make your critter any shape you like. That's why I said do a little hexagon one here. And if you happen to hit a metal piece of your zipper or your needle breaks or anything like that, try not to worry about it. Just try to get all the bits out. Turn the machine off, turn it back on, put a new needle in, make sure it turns all the way down in circulation completely without, you know, you're not hearing anything tap or anything, because sometimes you could bend the needle and it might hit something down below. So just be careful. Always go a little slow. Do a little back stitch over where the zippers are attached. Okay, all the way up to the top, across the ears. Do a little back stitch on the ears. Alright, and back this way. So it comes to the other part of the zipper, and of course it is plastic, so I said you can go over it. Do a little back stitch. It's the metal ones you can't. That will snap your needle like nobody's business. Now here's coming to where the tail is attached to the body, okay? So we're going to come down here. Of course it's a little fluffy. It's fluffy on this end because I'm going to stitch through some batting because I really wanted that tail to be fluffy. Okay, so here, back again, so that's 3 times. That has been stitched over. And I'm going to straighten this out. Like I said, just give me enough room to turn this right side out. Okay. Now you can totally cut the zipper right off if it's bothering you. You can lop off the corners so it turns easier, and your change will sit, or whatever it is, pencils or beads or whatever, snacks. All right. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to turn. So when you turn, you're going to go on the front side, so where the tail is. So I'm going to try and work the tail out first, because that was the bulkier one. Almost looks like we're having some sort of baby shark or something. I won't sing the song, I promise. Okay. Okay, and you just poke everything out. There's our little ear. There's our other little ear. Okay, looking cute and adorable. And you could totally add some feet on this. You could make it, like I said, its own little character. So its own little buddy. Now you'll have your poker outer stick too. Make sure you're getting everything. You may have to go on one side and then the other. Okay. Of the fabrics. I think we're okay there. Isn't that cute? Oh, adorable. All sorts of fun things you can do there. And now you're just going to tuck those raw edges in. Okay, right up in. And then you're just going to put a pin or two and then sew all the way around. Okay, just kind of sealing it all up. All right. And that's how you get it, so you have like no raw edges on the inside of your pouch. Don't poke yourself, that hurts. All right, let's finish it off. And that is a zippered pouch, a monster critter buddy. Whatever you want to call it. I call it fun and being creative. And using my stash for good. So you can just sew just around the bottom if you want, or you can sew all the way around. It depends, up to you. Okay, I'm just going to go all the way, not all the way, just around the bottom. Okay, there we go. Isn't that cute? A little tail, can hang like that. Have a little handle here. I mean, it's to have fun and be creative, and there's really no right or wrong sort of character, clearly. This one I just used fabric, did zigzag, and then just did some weird little eyelashes, and then did the triangle stitch out that you have on your machine. I just put the black thread in and put the triangle and just kind of put it in 2 different spots. So be creative with what you have. You can use a little heat and bond, use some buttons, use some felt, use some beads, use some string, use anything you like. And you could, of course, do the different ties. Could have done a braid here. I didn't really want it to take away too much from the face. I did think about putting a couple beads on it, but, you know, maybe you could still change it. All right, so that, if you fill him up good enough, he'll sit there all by himself. That is our little zipper pouch. So thank you, everybody. Big hugs from us at the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing, and possibly even sharing this video with your friends or talking about us. We'll see you Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, where we're going to start a brand new project. Okay? Take care, everybody. Big hugs from us at the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. Take care. See you soon. Make a pouch.